everyone, and welcome to Tap Into Your Creativity this Saturday. We have amazing, talented artist Jessica Matier. She's going to join us any minute now from New Jersey. She's a New Jersey-based contemporary abstract artist, and she is going to show us her beautiful studio and her process and just what an incredible place she has. And she is here, so I'm going to bring her in for this beautiful conversation that we're going to have today. And we're just going to wait for a second, and she's just connecting. There she is.
Hi.
Hi, Jessica. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're joining us today. Thank you so much for being part of my army of artists and joining me in this incredible project to help others.
Thank you. I am so sorry. Henry, I'm working. Oh my God. It's like really at this kid. Go play. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I love this. This is what life is all about, right?
Go. I'm busy. I'm doing something. Okay?
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
I mean, really? Okay.
Yes, really. This is life. This is what happens. Exactly. That means that you're a real person. I love it. Oh, now you can take a deep breath and we can start
now
again.
I'm sweating because I feel like he's going to come back just in spite because he knows I'm doing something.
Oh my God. That's okay. He can be on camera too. It's part of this time right now. So don't worry about it. If he comes in, he can join.
He's right over there in his underwear.
That's fine. I'm saying this is part of Corona right now.
Yeah.
Hi, Jessica. Please tell us like your name. I know you're in New Jersey, but tell everyone that doesn't know you a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jessica Matier, a mixed media artist. I work mostly on canvas, like raw looking canvas, but it's actually clear gesso, and I do lots of 11 by 14 inch small paper pieces with a lot of very lengthy titles. I feel like that's one characteristic of my work that probably stands out from a lot of other abstract artists. The titles are probably just as important as the image themselves.
So we'll go into the titles when we actually see the paintings, because I want to learn the meaning behind it and what it means to you to do that. So, because I think it's very interesting, and not, like you said, not a lot of people do that. So I think it's a good thing to know. So Jessica, tell us a little bit about like growing up. Where did you grow up, and when did you think that maybe art was going to be in your cards?
I grew up in New Jersey, in Morris County. It was not a rural area, but like a suburban leaning towards rural area. I'm only child. I'm adopted, so I was raised an only child, but I actually have a lot of biological siblings. I have 6 older sisters and 1 younger brother who are all in Korea.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's a lot.
Have you met them?
No, I've messaged them back and forth, and but nothing in real life yet. It's been a few years for me to kind of like sort out whether or not I want to take that leap. And now with COVID, it's much more difficult to even move forward with that.
Right.
So my childhood was very, very quiet. There was like long stretches of alone time, like in my house, that I would kind of just, live in my own mental space for a long period of time. And then I had 2 working parents, so I wasn't always able to just say like, oh, I need something, let me, mom, dad, like take me to the store. It's like, no, like I had to fend for myself. with like, you know, and I think that's why I'm so resourceful as an adult, because I never had that luxury. And art just was always kind of something that came naturally to me. My parents did foster that. They put me in art lessons, and I was in, you know, like the National Art Honor Society school and that kind of stuff. And I actually had a great, I went to Mount Olive High School, and they have a great arts program, like full photography studio and silk screening. And it was just like this magical, weird coincidence, you know, that I was able to do that. So I went to Parsons at 18, like right out of high school, because I was
Yeah, you went
desperate.
to Parsons Schools of Design. That's a
I
big
did.
deal.
Yeah. So I ran there as fast as I could, the moment I could. I've always loved New York City. And then I majored in illustration, and I learned a lot of basic skills. I was also in the fine arts department, and then I transferred to illustration because I felt like I wasn't learning enough. There was like a little too much open studio time and not enough direction, and I felt like I needed that. Then I briefly moved to Chicago for 4 days to go to the School of the Art Institute, which I don't generally tell people because it's embarrassing. But I got there, and it was like some weird complex, like I can't be here. So I withdrew and went back to, I took a year off, then went back to Parsons,
Oh
was
my
there
God.
for a year, married my husband, dropped out senior year, moved to the middle of nowhere in upstate New York because he was in the Army. Then I stopped making work for 10 years, 9, 10 years, and then we moved
Where were
back
you guys
to
based?
Fort Drum.
Okay.
It's, yeah, it's the outer ring of hell. There's literally
For
nothing there.
for 10 years? You were there for 10 years?
No, we were there for, well, we were there for 1 year. Then he deployed to Iraq. So then I moved to Asbury Park with my in-laws to be near my in-laws. And then I had my first daughter. Then we moved back up for 10 months. Then he went to Afghanistan. So I came back down here again. Then we moved back up there
Oh
for
my
a
God.
year or
Please,
so.
please, please, from all of us, tell him thank you for his service.
Yeah, I
That's
will.
incredible. Wow.
Yeah, and so there's like this insane back and forth. I was very young. I was a very young mother on my own. There was just like no room for art at all.
Right.
So then I came back here and I started settling into like our life now. I started lifestyle blogging, which was like, oh, and then, and then
For who? For who? How did you start that? Why did you start that?
it was called Army Wife to Suburban Life, and it actually did pretty well. Like it was really fun, but I got to the point that I was doing so much sponsored content because I have such an enterprising personality that like I just wanted to like make money
I
and
love
like
the
have a
name. The
job.
name is amazing. You have to keep doing that somehow.
Oh, I was embarrassed of it so much so that I took down the whole site, and I regret doing it. But
Oh
I
no.
did, and it's like too late now because some like scammy, fishy person like took the domain because I was very not smart about setting it
Oh
up.
darn.
Anyway, and then I started making art, and I was making art for the blog, and then I was like, this is silly. Like, why don't I just start? And then I did the 100-day project that year. That was like 2017. And then all by like day 65 I was like selling work, and you know, building an
Did you
Instagram.
start from scratch? What year? Let's go back. What year are we talking about now?
2017 was the year that I really started getting into the way I paint now. Before that, I was playing around with just like illustrations like during 2016, and it wasn't really, I was just, you know, re-exercising, you know, getting everything back and flowing, which was very hard. It made me very self-conscious, being older and living here in like a more like isolated environment. Because I am lucky to have this studio, which is right outside my house, but there's no community. It's me, just me all day long. So it gets, you know, a little jarring. And I started, yeah, just posting every day with this 100-day project. They were all 11 by 14, predominantly like black and white with a little bit of color, mixed media pieces. And I started reading Marcus Aurelius's book on Stoicism and applying that to my life and trying to like find some inner peace in the process of creating. And I think a lot of that resonated with other artists, and that's how I really started building a community on Instagram. And I did the other art fair, which was a huge turning point in my career that really got things off the ground for me. And then it's just kind of grown from that.
I
So
think it's amazing on how, people don't understand if they're not an artist, how hard it is when you take a hiatus of years or months or even like weeks to get back into the studio and to find the flow. It's very hard to find that. And that's why I keep saying to people, like, if you want to become a professional artist, you have to show up. You have to do
yes.
the work every single day because you kind of lose the flow if you don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard
Yes.
to get back.
Mm-hmm. I'm a huge proponent of self-discipline. I think that's like the biggest thing. Like they call it a discipline for a reason, and it's not. I never wait for inspiration. I just don't feel like I have the luxury. I have too much going on. And it's like I've accepted it as a job, and so I'm gonna do it. This other thing I wanted to share was for how to do that and how to force yourself. And this might sound a little crazy, but I do this thing. This all started when I first started showing in Brooklyn and New York. And I was like so terrified just because like I didn't know, it's been so long and I just felt like this, I don't know, like I didn't belong. And so I would divide my mind and say half of it was boss Jessica and the other half was employee Jessica, and boss Jessica was telling employee Jessica, like, you have to go do this and be like a good representative for our company. and doing that like all the time. It was a huge thing, weird little thing that helped just like push through the nerves and to like get out there. So
And it obviously helped you.
yes, it did.
I mean, it got you into a groove. So now we're 2017, and now you decide, I'm not going to do illustration. How do you turn from illustration to non-objective art? What happened?
The abstraction has always been there. I did briefly start painting that way in college, and I knew right away, like, this is what I want to do. I saw Joan Mitchell, and it was just like, no, like, this is the way, But then I would always fight it because I tend to be a very orderly person because I know that I am such a chaotic hot mess inside that, like, I'm always kind of pushing against that because I feel like everything will just fall apart if I don't. So, it was, and I personally, like, if I was to purchase a piece of work, I do prefer representative work. And I know it's very conflicting, but, so then I started just like every single day for 100 days, I would just like work it out and let myself go and let myself make bad work, and I would still have to post it because it was this 100-day thing, and I'm such like a rule follower that like, I would just force myself to do it, and that 100 days just completely it completely changed everything. And then after that, I went right into making a bigger paper pieces, and those I started showing those and like go entering into different like contests and stuff like that. And jury group shows, and like so I was showing those bigger, and I was like, I should do canvases because I'm gonna be in this art fair. And so then I just churned them out. It was like I was waiting for 10 years to just do
and
it.
Then it was an explosion.
It was yeah, it wasn't even like an explosion, but it was just like an effortless way of being that they just very naturally came out. And they still do. I mean, it's definitely not hard for me to create work. That's not
That's the best state that you want to be in, that they just come out naturally, that you're not pushing it, that they're just coming out. That means that your creative juices are still, going, and you get informed by what you're doing, and then you want to come back and do it again. And I think that now that your kids maybe are a little older, that gives you also the time to explore in your studio.
Oh, yes, I know. With the COVID now, I'm really worried about, them staying in school this year, which is something, I was making the 100 small pieces during quarantine, and I was still getting it done. So in the end, it's really not the end of the world. But
so it's ourselves that we put our own, that we say we can't do this, we can't do that because we have this. You're always going to find an excuse not to do it. I think that discipline and will for sure carry you on no matter what.
right,
And I think that we've done this, and that's why I wanted to start this, because we are definitely helping people at home that, don't feel like their creative juices are happening, or that we're helping them come back into their studios or just start learning something completely new that they never thought they could. So I think that this is a time to shine, right?
yes.
And to learn something new and just to do something.
I know
Because
a lot
this too
of
shall pass.
yeah, a lot of people recommended that book, The Artist's Way.
Yeah.
Have you? I started reading and I was just like, nah. I didn't hold my attention. But if you're out there and you're struggling, maybe that's
it's an amazing book. It actually makes you show up. It makes you write about your work and understand yourself better. It's almost like going to a therapy for art.
Yeah.
For free. I mean, not for free, but like for whatever the book is worth. But highly recommended. But so Jessica, now that let's go back to like 2018, 19. Were you at that point doing art shows? Were you in galleries? How did you grow so fast?
I think Instagram has really been a huge key to sales and exposure. I am definitely more New York based. So I started working with art consultants there and some in London, and, Saatchi Art, I was selling work there, and they were hugely supportive in featuring me and just, giving me that time to shine, like in their community. And that meant a lot. I really do like Saatchi Art. Some people don't, but I really do like them for that. And art consultants would sell my work, interior designers, and what else happened? Just a lot of like direct sales on Instagram. I do, I would send out newsletter like once a month, which I still do, and that's just a way to like maintain, my relationship with collectors and potential collectors, interior designers, and all of that. What else? I did get into a little licensing. I'm not like a huge fan of it, but it is like a passive income. And
what did you do?
I worked with Star Creations for a little bit, and then I worked with another company. Oh my gosh, the name is just I Canvas. But I don't attach my name to it, and I kind of just use it as like, people who go to their website will see my work and buy it and accept it for what it is. But I have a very I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Like I'm still at the beginning stages of really feeling it out and seeing if it's worth it. What else? I did a lot of jury shows, just to like, get out there and fill up my CV. What else? 2019, did I do the other art fair again? I did the other art fair again.
Where? In New York?
In Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, I just going to London, or it was like too much,
Yeah.
So like
So you had your own booth there, and how was that experience for you?
Oh, it's an emotional roller coaster, and it's pure hell in that regard. It's completely stressful. Like I want to die the whole time I'm there. But you meet a lot of really cool artists who I'm still, friends with, and it's a very, yeah, it's a very bonding experience going through those few days, you know.
Yeah, I bet. And
Yeah.
it's, and someone that doesn't like to be on camera all the time, Jessica, you have to be on. People
Mhm.
don't know, but like art fairs, it's all about you because you're the person who's selling your work. No one can
Yes,
sell better than yourself.
I strongly agree with that. Nobody is going to advocate for you or, than yourself. So you really have to be there for yourself.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't wait for galleries. You can't wait for anyone because you have to do
No
just
one is as passionate as you are from your own
exactly.
work. Period.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line. So if you want to sell, you need to put your face somehow in there and make a connection with whomever is going to
Exactly.
buy it.
I mean,
And
and
so,
even just like emailing people, and not once and not twice, but like 4 or 5 times, like, hey, like, I don't know what projects you're working on. Am I a good fit? How about now? And then a year later, well, what are you working on now? Is it a good
exactly.
spot?
Just making sure that you're always present somehow,
Exactly.
without
Yes.
crossing the annoying line.
Yes. Yes. I,
And being easy to work with.
yes. Yes. I think being very professional and very, available, it does speak volumes.
Yes. Yes.
Just yes,
Yes.
being
So,
organized.
so Jessica, where is your studio?
It's in the back of my house. It's a converted garage that's quite large. When we had originally purchased the house, an artist had already set up the space, and I walked in here, and she was in here pounding. She was a poet too, and she was pounding on her keyboard, on her typewriter. And I just looked and I was like, oh, well, I guess we're gonna live here. Like, this is pretty amazing. So, I really lucked out in that regard.
So
Although,
can you take us on a little tour and show us
yes.
around?
Yeah, I'm going to take you off this and then I'm going to flip you around.
Perfect.
There we go. Okay, so let me start. This is obviously the front door, and then there's a little bathroom in here.
Oh, you have
And
your own
then
little bathroom.
I know it's like really, really, I couldn't ask for anything better. This is all the paper roll that I use to like wrap when I ship work and stuff like that, and canvas remnants. There's also a whole loft upstairs. I don't know if you can see, but that's where I keep like all the bigger paperwork, and there's
Oh,
like
wow.
stuff
That's
and
awesome.
yeah. And then this is like the little kitchen area with tools and my weird postcard collection. And this is a small painting. And then that's my refrigerator that I always buy probably too many drinks for. And this is the area that's always photographed whenever I'm, posting and stuff because it has
The
the best
lighting is
light.
so amazing there.
Yes, I'm very lucky that they did that with the skylight. And then we have these little window, and this door opens, but it's really it's hard to close, so I rarely open them. I wish my husband would fix that. And then here are all of my supplies, and here's this really large thing of Yupo paper that I just can't seem to use up. And this is everything kind of in here. I'm also the queen of like reorganizing every week,
I can
so
tell. My goodness. Look at you.
I,
Okay, now let's just show us the skylight that you have there.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, come on. Is that a garage? No.
Oh man, yeah. No, I lay and just like kind of stare up at it,
Oh
hoping
my
that
God. I can't
I'm gonna
wait
see
for
something.
you to start talking about your artwork. So you start wherever you want us to take us first.
Oh, okay. So I took out all of the canvases.
Who
This
plays
is
music? You?
Oh, well, I started I started trying to teach myself piano. My daughter Dottie, she does the drums and she does the piano, and then my daughter Alice does the xylophone
Oh
kind
my
of.
gosh.
And then Dottie just like knows how to play it because she's just like that. I don't know. And then the
Wow.
guitar is my husband's, but don't ever ask him to play.
Wow. That's amazing. Okay, let's focus on that one
Yes.
if you want, or whatever, wherever you want to start us with.
Oh, this one is very different from what I normally do, and I actually like work that is a little more static and piecey. Because I do make paper pieces that are like this, and I find like I just make it because I like to look at it, but I feel like it's not the most honest in some way. It's like a projected image of like who I want to be. Um,
Interesting. Why do you say
yeah.
that?
Because it's more organized and neat, clean, and I just liked it, you know. So I mean, that's why I think I hung it over here too, because then I get to look at it more, and then maybe I'll have some kind of enlightening thing to share later on after I look at it for 3 years, provided it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
this
my gosh.
this is a piece. An old one. I want to say it's like early 2018. It's called Weight of an Error. Um, and it's very red, obviously, which is uncommon for me. And it's just me thinking about the weight of my errors, you know, the burden of doing something wrong and replaying it over and over in your mind and trying to resolve and how to kind of move past it and let it
You
go. And
know,
I
yeah. I think the usage of red, sometimes it's hard. You know, not a lot
hmm
of people, you know, it's hard. It's a hard way to use red
hmm
sometimes. But I think this is very successful. It almost looks like there's a horse running or something is running and the wind is blowing and it's just like, you know, it just is pushing that figure
hmm
against it.
Right. Yeah, I see that. So, and this is a new, I should have done this chronologically now that we're starting it, but too late now. So this is one of the most recent works I've done.
Wow. Can
Yeah,
you show us a little closer?
of course. There's actually, this is actually, I think that's gesso because it's so thick.
Yeah.
And I just had so much of it and I was burning through so much white paint that I was like, you know what? Let me just do this because I'm gonna obviously put so much stuff on top of it that it made sense. I actually personally really like this painting.
Yes.
This is an example of how I want a painting to turn out, where I'm not overworking it, which I will show you one of those examples
So can
right
you
now.
tell us what medium did you use?
Oh, sure. So it's spray paint, acrylic, um, watercolor, the gesso, like I said, soft pastel, and I think that's it. Yeah,
So do
that's it.
you do the spray paint in the beginning or at the end, or it doesn't really matter when you put the spray paint in?
It really does matter. I'm learning. I just started using spray paint this year
Yeah, me
because I
too.
always try to create this kind of like ominous dark thing, and that's the spray paint. But once you spray paint something, it's hard to put something over it. So it create, you know, it's like a waterproof top, so it doesn't really take a lot of anything else after that. Yeah, and like this is actually pastel. Um,
Yeah,
and I
it has
used to
so
have,
much layers and mark making and that looseness. Like I said, in your work, I feel like you can really breathe it in and out because it
Mhm,
has that, you know, it's not constrained. Like the one
mhm.
that you like, I feel the one that you kind of want to be, I think that is very
Oh, that one.
constraining. Yeah, it's just like you know, it's more in a box and the other ones you want it's out of the box. So
Mhm,
I personally always want to be the one person that's out of the box and
mhm,
not fit into a box.
mhm.
So I personally enjoy this work. Um, for me, this is very successful.
Thank you. Um, this one is another recent-ish one. Um, and here, let me move this over. So this is an example of, you know, like I felt like this one I definitely overworked. And then I'll just keep going. This
Yeah.
painting. was in 2018, which was a very weird year for me. I started creating work
It
that,
almost looks like landscape, kind of.
yeah, I see that. It's yeah, it was my husband was like, your paintings lack depth. So I was like, all right, I'll make a depth painting. So this depth painting.
But do you see that? It almost feels like a horizon line there. Like if you have like a wave coming through and the sunset and the mountains.
Yeah,
Um, it's different from, I love it. I think he was right.
yeah.
He,
I definitely am conscious of this kind of mountain in the background thing in my head. Like I'm a lot of paintings, like here, I'll show you over here. It's like that same like landscapey mountain in the background
oh,
situation.
I love, what, is that linen?
No, everybody asks me that. It's just canvas with clear gestural.
Oh, it is, because it looks like you use the background to become a part of your palette. And,
Absolutely.
right?
I do. That's why I have to stretch myself because you can't buy pre-stretched canvas with clear gesso. So that's really. I also do use very high, like the highest quality sugar bars and the highest quality canvas that I can get. I feel like it's really important to use very quality materials because I have seen art. I was once doing this art fair and this woman was using like dollar craft. And what? Like, how are you, you know,
Yeah, no,
that?
yeah,
So,
I agree. You need the best that you can get if you want to get to the next level, I guess.
yeah, I think I can, when, a painting is created with, like student grade paint. So this is also a recent work.
That looks very atmospheric to me.
Yes, this painting was an attempt to maybe a kind of like to recreate a very old painting called So Bright It Burns that I just loved so much. It was a square painting with lots of different marks and it was yellow and white. And this is obviously not white. Out. Um, but yeah, there's also, I've noticed this weird science fiction-y kind of thing happening to my work. And I guess it is
Did
linked.
that come from the illustration side of things, you think, when you did that?
I don't know. No, 'cause it doesn't feel like a conscious effort to make something look like it's from space or
Okay,
stuff. It's
okay.
just my
It just
product.
happens naturally, organically.
Exactly. And the very this painting took a very long time because it was just a big blue cup for like a year, and I finally finished it. Um,
Oh my God.
it was one of those where, you like, it was just a cup and there was nothing.
So what's the title on this one?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I can't, I'm drawing a total blank. This is terrible. Here, maybe I can, let me see if I
Well,
can.
I want to know some of the titles because
Yeah,
we want to talk about that because I think that's important. So you don't have to talk about the blue cup one. Maybe that should be the title on that one.
this is killing me. It's something to do with being self-conscious. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I've been we just went away and then ever since we came home, I've been very disoriented. It's a whole other separate story, but like
Oh,
I
I
just
love
I
that painting, that one on the top.
oh, thank you. Yes, this is
Wow.
called Do Not Fade into the Digital Abyss. Or is it? Yeah.
I like that. I like that title. It informs a lot, actually, um, your titles.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you talk a little bit about why you think that they need such a long title, or it's not that they need, it just comes out that way?
I think that the titles are the solutions to the problems that I'm trying to visually figure out. So it seals it all up and it directs the viewer to an understanding of what I'm trying to do. It gives it like a purer meaning, something that's grounded, something that's not postmodern, but something that's true. And I think that's why I title them the way I do. I think it also helps build a relationship over time because it's these real conversations that I can have with a lot of people at one time through one painting and saying the same thing and having that being so specific.
Right.
It makes the world, like, I think, easier to manage
Understand.
when you're
Yes.
just,
Yes.
you know.
I love
um
that. Yeah.
this
How
is
big is that?
this is slightly smaller than that one. I want to say this is like 60 inches wide,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah, something
By
like
like
that.
36 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Do you, question, do you buy them pre-made or do you make them?
No, I make them. I see all those bars
Yes.
stretch and
Yes.
then all this canvas torn right here. It makes me want to die because I hate stretching I hate it so much, but I cannot. And I don't think I would also want to spend the money on pre-stretched, even if I could find it with the clear gesso already on it, just because I don't think it would be cost effective.
Got it.
Um, yeah. So yeah, everything I've stretched myself, and then
Oh, wow. Look at that.
see, this is like that. This one was very hard to finish. I feel like it's overworked, but I know that it's okay.
No, it's
Um,
not overworked.
this is this is called the outer and the inner journey.
I can
Um,
totally see that. It's like a little mountain that you climb up and then you go down and then you climb up and then it has its pauses, but you also have that rhythm throughout the whole painting because you have that thread.
mhm.
Your mark making goes, from the bottom of the painting all the way, kind of like curves down and then goes up. And so it almost makes it like your eye wants to go from one corner to the very next corner of the painting. And so I think it's extremely well resolved. I
Oh, thank
really
you.
love that. Yes. And
So,
oh wow, how it looks like, yes. I mean, you can tell all the layers that you have in there and all the colors and all the details. That even that little blue mark that you have down there, I don't know if you see it, but it's just it informs everything. It's just a very well done painting in my eyes. And
oh, thank you.
listen, I'm not an art critic, but um, I really, really love that. It's
Thank you.
beautifully made.
It
What's
for a
the
long.
what's the title again? Can you repeat that?
It's called the outer and inner journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's how it feels because you have that thread, that
mhm.
stops and then it continues and then it stops and then it continues. So, yeah, I love that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Um, and I did take out. This is also a recent one. This is called Fiction of the Mind, which is, the stories you make up inside your mind of things that happened or people's perceptions and that they don't really exist. You're just making them up because you're crazy. So,
Oh, and I
um,
love all your little ones there that you have.
thank
Um,
you.
is
These are these are from the this year's 100 day.
so did
This
you
was
have what was your project for the 100 day?
It was just painting, an 11 by 14 piece every single day. There was no theme, there were no constraints. I just kind of went ahead and did it. And I'm really happy with the results. There's definitely, I don't know if you could tell, the top half. I pulled these I'm going to start a whole large canvas. And then I'm trying to finish 10 large canvases by the end of the year, which I know is really ambitious, but I took these from the 100 days to kind of help guide me into what I'm going to do. And I noticed that there were a lot of very light pastel ones and very dark gold pieces that were, so I kind of wanted to hang them. They could talk to one another, kind of figure out what's going on. I plan on creating a small like book, like a 6x6 hardcover every single day. I already have it laid out and everything. I'm trying to write an introduction, and that's held me up. I did write, my husband laughed really hard, so I deleted it.
Oh my
He
God.
said it was really bad.
Oh, you should have sent it to me first.
Oh, I know, maybe. It might have been a bit wishy-washy. So, like a little too,
So what are
like,
you going to do with the 10 big pieces?
I'm just gonna paint them and then see what they look like, and then hopefully show them, and or just sell them right out of the studio, which is a lot
Yeah.
easier than
So how
schlepping
big are
them.
you thinking?
Oh, so this is 42 by 72. This is
Oh,
like my
that's
new
so big.
size. So I've been making these since last year, and I've sold a few of them, and I think it's just the right size for me because it gives me enough space to not have like one thought, but a landscape of thoughts. So it gives me the space to have to just create a lot of elements that really come together and create like an immersive world rather than like a smaller painting where it's,
Right.
just a larger version of these,
Right. How many
Um,
paintings do you think you create at the same time?
I'm gonna try to do 10 at the same time, but normally I do like two or three. And you can
Wow.
tell, like, I always, whenever I create and like put something out there, like they do, you can definitely see that I did create them at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Because they
like
inform each other. Yeah.
exact, like that
Yeah.
one far away, and then this one, I did
Yeah.
those at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same
Yeah. Yeah.
time.
So do you
Um,
work on the floor mainly or do you work on the wall or where do
I
you?
I do both.
Okay.
I start on the floor because I usually start with watercolor, and I just throw like water on there, and kind of build a form, and then I'll
Let it
either,
dry. Let it be.
yeah, sometimes I let it dry, sometimes I put it on the wall and let it drip.
Okay.
I try not to rely on that aesthetic too much because I think it can sometimes look a little gimmicky if I do it too much. So, I just play with it back and forth like that. And I can't really see the work when it's on the floor. So it usually is laid against the wall, so I can draw on it
So you can
easier.
have a little more perspective.
Exactly. Also, a really helpful thing, I got the iPhone 11, and you know how you can zoom out.
Oh yeah.
So I can like look with my phone and then but see it far away at the same time,
Right.
while I'm working on
Exactly.
it. That's been really helpful.
Are
Um,
you gonna do a little demo for us?
I think so.
Oh, I'm
I'm really
so happy.
nervous. When you initially said that, I was like, oh, I don't know. I feel really like on the spot, and I don't know.
I know.
But I'm gonna give it a
I said
go.
it's up to you. I'm so excited though. Oh my goodness.
So like we didn't go over how we're gonna do this. So I'm trying to figure out like
You just go. You just do, and then just tell us like what materials you're using, and it's just for people to see how you can start activating the canvas. You know,
all right.
like how is your beginning, and how do you start activating the canvas? So don't think that we're watching.
um, so I like to be like this menace where I start a canvas differently every time now and not have like this formula. Um, so I so it's hard to just but what I used to do is start with a very liquidy background, and then I build on it. I create like form with the pastels, and then I put the acrylic over it, and it was like this very. And then I was like, I better not pin myself into this very specific kind of painting, or I'm gonna have trouble when I actually want to grow.
Okay, so just tell us what you're using, what brushes or. Um,
So this is it's HAKE. I think it's a hake or.
we actually can't see what you're showing us
Oh,
because
geez.
there we go.
Okay. Here. You know what? Let me adjust the camera so maybe
Yeah,
it's a little more.
a little. Oh, there we go. Now we're gonna be
Okay.
able.
Oh
Oh
wait.
no.
Here. No.
Yeah.
Great. Is that better?
There, perfect. Yes, now we can see you. Yeah.
So I'm really not. I feel in my archive like nothing is sacred. Like if everything burnt down tomorrow, like I'd probably be okay. So when it comes to like making a mess on the canvas or whatever, it's like just like let it go, you know. So I'm gonna use this brush to cover a lot of space, and then I'm just gonna kind of. Usually I do this after a very long stretch of silence and being very, very weird in the studio. I do yoga and like a lot of weird like incensey stuff, and
You meditate?
I do. I listen to a lot of classical music that I kind of then in this very trance-like state start painting. It's very strange.
Well, no, I think that, you know what, you're not alone. A lot of people need, you know, something to trigger them to get into that mode. And whatever that is that works for you to get into that, that's what you should be doing, you know?
It's definitely like I prefer to do that than anything else. I think
Is
that's
that ink? Are you using ink?
This is radiant concentrated watercolor, which if you're going to use this, you have to spray it with UV spray, which I'm going to show you the bottle because it's really important because it will fade in the sunlight, so you have to spray it with this stuff.
Oh.
And then I put like a spray varnish over that. I use this kind.
Is that when you're done or while you're working?
Yes, when I'm done.
Okay.
When I'm finished. I also have workable fixative for like pastel work, which I actually don't use that often because I've been using more acrylics lately, but that's also just like a very basic material to have that makes things easier. So what I did is I just created like a wet brushy space, and then I dropped the watercolor on the edge to create like a gradient, and then I'm just kind of working it in.
Yeah, it almost you give it an edge almost.
Yes, that's kind of like the bottom of the form, or like the almost like the basin in which this like a landscape will kind of grow out from.
Right, exactly.
And then
I love that brush.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's very inexpensive, and I really, as you can tell, I really like them. I also love this brush. I use this for gessoing, but it's also a good acrylic brush. I wish I could tell you who made it. I think it's the same. I think it's just Liquitex, but this is
okay.
And then I do use a lot of like rags and stuff. And now this is looking a little like not so great. So what I'll do is I'll kind of like add it on here, add water on top. And it's kind of like when you're creating some kind of flat laid.
And look at how it bleeds beautifully into the water.
Yeah, like it's better just to let something natural happen because I feel like it looks. It's like whenever you look down at something, like when you're on a hike, and it's like, oh, it like looks perfect the way the leaves fell. It's like you're kind of doing that, you know. So
right, exactly. You kind of let it be, and yeah. And I love. I do the same. I was just gonna say that I love manipulating the water and moving it around to go, you know, wherever you kind of want to go. But that bleed that happens. It's so natural and it feels so good. It's very satisfying. Oops. Jessica, we lost you there for a minute, I think. You got frozen. Darn. I don't know if everyone probably, yeah, I guess. She just left, but she's going to join us again. So don't worry. She'll finish that. Because I know she can hear me. So she's going to join us again. So just stay tuned so we can finish that. There she is. Okay. I don't know what happened, but it doesn't matter. She's back. So And I'm so excited. Thank you, Jessica, for
Okay.
doing this. I'm so excited that you're doing this. I can't thank you enough. I know that you don't feel super comfortable doing it, but I love what's happening. And like what I was saying, it feels so satisfying to me to see how, because this is the natural process, the organic process, and then
Yeah.
we interrupt it ourselves.
Yeah. I think that's really the secret to making very like natural, flowy kind of work is to really not touch it too much. Like when you kind of after you do your hair, it's like don't touch it anymore. You're gonna ruin it. It's the same thing.
Exactly, exactly. And so what else do you use? What else? What other materials do you love to use?
Okay. So yeah, I use those inks, and then I have all of this stuff. Oh wait. So I have my photographer is actually also a paint maker. Um,
Oh,
and I just bought a bunch of them, and I really like them. They're acrylics. I tend to use like these fluid
yeah,
acrylic. I
golden.
like
Yeah.
them. And then, but these are hers. It's
What
called
are they? What is it called?
Try Arts.
Oh,
It's just
are they more dense or are they fluid?
these are fluid.
Okay.
They're good quality. They're similar to like the golden fluid, which yeah, I
Yeah.
like a lot.
Yeah.
And then I started putting a lot of paint like directly on the canvas without mixing it, which I know like in art school like they always told you not to do that, but
I'm
I
going
just
to turn
started
back
letting
on
them.
comments in case people have questions.
Okay.
But so your, did you ever use oils?
In college I did like I loved it, and then I just I'm very impatient, so I like something that dries quickly. Because like
Yeah.
right now, like I'm not gonna work on this because I need to let it dry. Because
Right.
then if I add more watercolor to it, it's gonna mix into a different color. And I like having like the pure layers of color on top of one another. And then with the acrylics, like I've been pouring them on and then mixing them on the canvas, and I really like the way that looks. So
That's a question I was going to ask you. Do you have in your mind the color palette that you're going to be using, or do you just go with it when you start? How does that
sometimes
work?
I do. Sometimes I do keep it very limited because I want it to look a certain way. The first big group of canvases that I did paint, every painting like was like the blue painting, the green painting, and everything was very specific. And it worked out well to show them together. But then over time, like as you saw earlier, like all the colors are there now.
Yeah.
But I did make this here. I'm just gonna take you off here and flip you around because I
Yeah.
did this one. I actually see. I said keep it limited and keep it soft because I wanted this to be a blue, like very botanical kind of painting. So I did
Yeah.
make a conscious decision to do that, and then I went through this weird black phase with the maroon. This was my 2018 work, which I don't know, like something funny happened that year. I honestly don't even remember much of 2018 because it's like, all right, like I felt like I kind of did a little bit, with the art fair and starting to sell things. And then I felt this pressure to make work, but I wanted to, have a lot of integrity about it and keep it very personal, and then I just like bad work that year. I don't know. But
That's so funny how, the color palette is so different, and very effective, on both fronts. So it's good to see. Isn't it really great to go back and look at your work and see what you were doing a couple years ago and how like it informs you, but then you move on too. You do different things too now. It's like
mhm.
it's just different. I don't know. Like life happens, and I think that what what I'm trying to do is record all of you guys' work and put it in a book. So in 10 years from now, we're gonna go back and see what Sandra's army of artists were creating during Corona, right? And
Right.
some of them must be very constrained or not, and some of them is going to be open and amazing, and will be a dictionary of or encyclopedia of what happened then.
Yeah, I think that's
someone is asking, actually, does the watercolor reactive when you add medium on top of it?
yes. If I put white paint on top of that, especially the dark parts, it will bleed through. So
Through the
yes,
medium, yeah.
it will.
What kind of medium do you use?
I use, you mean like clear
Like
stuff?
clear,
Like,
yeah.
I used to use Liquitex, but now I use the golden,
The golden?
matte medium. I also have
Okay.
gloss medium.
Yeah.
I'm really not, like, I just kind of use whatever I have. I don't think about it too much, because then I disrupt the
Then you
flow.
stop. Then you stop
Yeah.
and yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So, Jessica, I can't thank you enough. I can't believe that it's been an hour that we've been talking, and it went so beautifully, and it flew so like that. Tell us, where can we find your artwork?
Well, this fall, I don't know what the COVID thing, but the Springboard Arts in Chicago will be opening, and I'm one of their artists. It's in Wicker Park, so I'm really hoping that we're going to have an in-person opening that I can physically show up to. I have a mysterious Brooklyn show that I don't really know a lot of details about right now. It's such an early. Oh, and then I wrote this down. That's why I keep looking over here. I don't forget. Latella Gallery in Washington, D.C. is collaborating with Industrious, which is a cool, like, co-working space, like a WeWork kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my artwork, I'll have 3 pieces there from November 24th through May. So, and then I don't even know how they're still there, at Tags in Williamsburg.
Oh my goodness.
Because of COVID happened, like, it was only supposed to be for like a month, and that was like forever ago, but they're still there. You probably have to like dust them off, but they're there. All of my small canvases are there, and some paper pieces that I really like. There's some diptychs. And I was at the Copper Mug, which got like an amazing response. That was actually just down the street in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. They're a great coffee shop. They just opened. It's really good. And that's it. I mean, I'm also giving away, Springboard Art sent me 2 of these really cute masks. Let me get them really quick. I just really like them. I kept one for myself, but I'm giving away these 2 masks to the next 2 people who buy artwork. So I'm just going to throw it in. But they're very soft. They're very, very comfortable. And I love
that. Oh,
so, yeah, so I'll send these out to whoever.
Is it going to be on Instagram, or
What's going to be on?
The giveaway?
Oh, no, it's just whoever buys a piece of artwork from me the next 2 times. Okay.
Okay, people, get on it.
You can buy small paper pieces directly from me at the Artist Support Pledge price, which I have kept just because of everything happening, and that's directly on my site. And then if you want to look at canvases, then you can just email me and I'll tell you the price and all that stuff. So
all right, well, thank you. I mean, you were amazing. You showed us so much. You're a beautiful space. You're a beautiful human being. You have a gorgeous soul. I feel like I found a new friend in you, and we'll forever be connected, and I'm just so excited. And thank you so much,
Thank you,
Jessica, for joining us today. Thank you, everyone that has been here and supporting me and my artists. It means the world to me. Thank you all. That I know that there were people, coming in from Belgium and from South America, and so thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your support, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Hey,
bye everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.